I'd like to welcome everyone to our press conference. When you make decisions like this, especially a decision that affects an entire community, it certainly take a long time to debate in your own mind, as well as your spouse's mind, as to what do you do. You know, I've had after this term is up, I'll have 38 years of public service to a town that I extremely love, as I'm sure all of you know. And I've always said that you should continue to do what you love. And it's quite obvious, a lifelong dream of mine. I will have 24 years in as being mayor of the city. So lived our dream, and it's interesting that you think back, and Joy and I were laughing yesterday when we were walking that there are young people that have graduated from college since 1988 when I became mayor. Now they're 23, 24 years old, and they've gone through their whole educational careers, and now graduates of college since I've been mayor of Massillon. So you step back and you say, that's a long, long time. So what we did is we evaluated, and I think the last, just past January, at my State of the City, it came up as to what I was going to do. And I had made a commitment that we would make a decision sometime in the summer, and that's usually earlier than when most decisions are made, because we still have to go through a November election for very important races in this county and in this state this November. But I wanted to get the information out and wanted to get my final decision made by June or July, and we've accomplished that. And honestly, it was a struggle mentally to decide what to do. There's no question that I enjoy what I do. I thoroughly enjoy what I do. There aren't too many people that can say that every morning you get up, you're very anxious to get to work. And of course, these kinds of jobs, there's peaks and valleys, as all of us know. But even some of the so-called bad times, if you enjoy your job, you get through those bad times in an easier fashion. So there was, I think there was a period of time within that, from January to the present, that we kicked around pros and cons, and we kicked around what would be best for the city. Because as all of you know, I always try to put the city of Massillon first, and I think I succeed in doing that. And even some of my most critical and my most critical opponents have said that seem to always put Massillon first, and I pride myself in doing that. There are a lot of things that still have to be done. If you really look at the big picture, we are a changing community and a changing environment and a changing economy. And all the cliches have been verbalized, but it's true. And we're in competition with many communities for a lot of growth and development, and that goes without saying. And I do think that we need to maybe to pursue other types of economic development. We've got some exciting projects that are just beginning. For example, taking the 400 acres of the Old Republic property and bringing that back to life. It's going to be a major undertaking, and because of that, the time involved, and right now it's going through some environmental issues and clearance, so we can bring back a steel site that could be great economic development news for our community. That's in its infancy stage, so that certainly has to be done. Some of the issues that we are constantly working on, this golf course, the Legends Golf Course, is a great facility for our community. But we were really upfront from the beginning on the third 9-hole expansion, and that should never have happened. And I always feel that if there is a problem, there are issues that you need to tackle, you have to have the right people and tackling those problems. And seeing that we were part of the process that created that problem, I want to do what I can do to try to right that wrong. And there are ways to do that, to reduce the course to 18 holes, sell some land for housing development, and try to restore as much of the original golf course as possible. That all being said, as all of you know, this isn't the best time to talk about large-scale residential developments. Granted, we're doing much better than what we've done the last couple of years in housing starts, but it's still not to the level that that kind of project makes sense, because we're not going to give the property away. So I wanted that situation should be taken care of. Our new art district downtown, again, in its infancy stage. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. Growth and development economically through industrial growth. As all of you see, we're doing pretty well, especially with our food industries. Shears and Freshmark and Heinz, the three main ones, they're doing exceptionally well, and those expansions should continue. But you're always looking for more development, and we have the ability to provide great sites for this type of industrial growth. So with all that, I guess a mainstay that my name's associated with, which will continue, and it played a role, I think, in my final decision, because I do feel that every person that holds these kinds of positions, they have things that people associate them with. And if you talk about me, annexation is something that is sort of the label that for my whole 37 years in public service, even as a councilman, I was very involved in annexation. I think it's a very important economic development tool. And I'm wondering, talking to a lot of people during this several-month period of time, and there were a lot of issues that people talked about. Is, what's going to happen if you're not there and this kind of situation occurs? What's going to happen with aggressive annexation and aggressive development? And that all played a role in the decision that I am going to seek the Democratic nomination in May of 2011 for Mayor Mast.